Welcome back to the No Limits Life podcast, where mindset meets mastery and every story reminds us that limits are meant to be shattered. I'm your host, Nordine, joined by my co-host, Ken. And today's guest knows a thing or two about building something remarkable from the ground up. Success is not just built on hustle. It's shaped by vision, refined through resilience, and sustained by service. Today, we're joined by a powerhouse in real estate and investment, Kaukaha, K. Watanabe, Hawaiian-born, Tucson rooted, is the founder of the property partners at EXP Realty, one of the nation's top 100 real estate teams. Since 2007, Kay and his team have helped over 4,000 families become homeowners and transformed more than 1,500 homes across Pima County through his investment firm, KSW Properties. Recognized nationwide and respected for his strategic vision, Kay does not just buy and sell homes. He builds community, creates opportunity, and redefines what's possible through real estate. Please welcome to the show a leader, innovator, and transformation expert, Kaukaha K. Watanabe.
Wow, I mean, I am blown away with that introduction.
Kay, you sound really important.
Yeah, you are. You
done
are
a lot.
That was probably way over the top for how I would have ever explained myself.
Should I call you Kay?
Yep.
Okay, welcome to the show. Let's start with that quote. Success is not just built on hustle. It's shaped by vision, refined through resilience, and sustained by service. How does that resonate with your journey and the way you lead today?
So when you start to look at even in a journey in real estate, there's a lot of people that come in and hustle. They're great people, and some people just don't make it, right? When you start talking about what separates the upper echelon, I think it's how they adapt to failure, right? Failing is so necessary, because if everything was perfect, everybody would do it. It would be that simple, that easy, because the barrier of entry just to get into real estate is actually pretty easy. I got in. I mean, college dropout, really was kind of a failure up to that point. Very disappointed in like the direction I was going in life, and I'm fortunate to have found that. But really where I would say we made our big jumps and our big hurdles is when we got criticized, when we failed at something and it hurt, you had some pain there, and we picked ourselves back up, had a game plan around what caused that failure to make sure it never happened again. And
resilience,
yes,
and pain tolerance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
You mentioned failure. The other side of the same coin is a success. They're the same coin. One is failure, one is success. Tell us about your failures.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? Let me get my list up.
The first failure, as you said something interesting earlier. You said, if I can do it, then anybody can do it. I'm a college dropout. Mind you, Steve Jobs was a college dropout, right? Bill Gates was a college dropout. It's not so much about college, It's your self-worth. Okay, when you connect to the self-worth, you can do anything you want.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a story that you remember.
I have my first failure in real estate.
Where your self-worth wasn't connected, or you didn't connect to your self-worth, and that failure in real estate. Do you remember that time?
Yeah, my first failure in real estate is I was representing a buyer, and we're actually friends till today. We were doing an inspection on his home, and I don't think we went deep enough in the inspection. We found out that the house wasn't connected to sewer, even though the entire community was. This one was still on septic.
Oh, no.
So I get a call 2 to 3 weeks later, my tub's overflowing and the black water's coming out. Well, we all know what the black water was.
Oh, God.
Right? And I sent out plumbers and multiple plumbers, and we found out he had a septic instead of a sewer. And that's where I understood I didn't go deep enough to represent him properly. The hard part for me was, obviously, I needed the money. I was a brand new real estate agent. I was broke. And I talked to a mentor I had at the time, Larry Pullman. I said, Larry, what should I do? What's the right thing to do? Because take care of that problem, right? You had a problem, you failed. Somehow you should have done a little more. So I gave my friend till this day the commission check. And it was painful because I missed my mortgage payment that month.
Wow, yeah.
But I did the right thing. And I think when you're looking at real estate or any business, is doing the right thing sometimes is a lost art, right? We went away from the traditional, hey, let's shake hands and do this deal, to I need contracts, I need attorneys. Even though it was painful, it helped us refine our process. I did the right thing, so I have a raving fan for the rest of my life, and we've bought and sold many houses together from there.
By taking care of the problem before it took care of you,
Correct.
were you able to make amend
Yep.
and enter the path of success?
You know, when you start looking at success, there's so many ways to get there, right? And there's a good way, and also you've seen people like these, like you watch the McDonald's, movie, you watch the Facebook movie. Some of those people just didn't do the right things. They made a decision on what was best for them, and sometimes you have to make a decision that is best for whoever you're representing, because we serve them first. It doesn't matter sometimes how I feel or if I need to make this money. I need to serve them at the highest level, and sometimes we just have to pay and stroke that check.
Would you say that the following statement from Joe Polish, when he says, "What's in it for them," kind of statement when you deal with people?
That's the first time I've heard that, and I think that's powerful. I think that's accurate, especially in the world that I live in of real estate. We're licensed for a reason. It's to protect the public. We're not licensed because we need to write contracts. All the contracts are basically written for us. We fill in the blanks. We are licensed. We had to go through that because it's easier for us to be held accountable from there.
True success, as opposed to long-lasting or short-lasting success, as opposed to long-lasting success. One shot, one win, doing the wrong thing, and then you out.
Yep.
As opposed to what's in it for them. I'm going to make sure I'm doing everything I can in making sure that they are taken care of. Then
I will use
they
that.
can take care of them.
I will use that for the rest of my life, and especially for Tucson, we're in it's a big, small town. Everybody knows each other, and your name is so powerful, and you have to keep it clean by doing the right things.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, whether it's in real estate, in wellness coaching, personal training, and whatnot, if you're using one size fits all, sort of dealing with people, it's only before it catch up with you.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
Yeah, a matter of time, and it will catch up with you. You enter a gym and somebody's been training somebody to lose weight, for instance. You go 3 months later, that person is still as heavy. That codependency that is developed between clients and trainer or real estate agent and home buyer. If you get rid of that codependency and you make it about them, and you're not depending and they're not depending on you, it's half the battle.
I'm impressed with how you've scaled this company. I mean, you've grown it into something
Thank you.
very large. So what would you say your formula is for success, with the company and personally?
Consistency, right? There's a lot of things for any job or any career that you have to do to be successful. For instance, one of them that we talked about today in my sales meeting is just simply making phone calls. We were really spoiled coming out of that COVID boom. It took little to no skill to be successful during that 2-year time
Couldn't
period.
walk away from the money.
I could have taken somebody from the street and trained them up in 2 weeks and they would have been successful.
Right.
The problem with what we faced there, it made us lazy. It made us forget about relationships, right? And we were wanting that instant gratification, and that doesn't happen in real estate traditionally. You need to serve people at a high level, find out their pain points, find out what they're wanting, and spend some time there and be consistent with your process, be consistent with your follow-up, be consistent, just understanding this person on the other end is a human, they have fears. And I think sometimes I've even forgot about that. Selling as many homes as we did, you never want the process to feel cookie cutter. You want it to be customized to them. And everything every day, even though you don't want to do it, making 10 phone calls a day, even though you had the best month of your life, you still have to do it. It's not doing the sexy or fun things whenever you want to do it. It's doing it every single day without fail. So consistency is big.
Yeah. Okay, I am going to speak for other people that are watching or listening right now. The real estate has sometimes a a bad rep, and real estate agents sometimes, just like car dealership or car salesmen or personal trainers, fall into a category that I would call merchant of deceit. Can you tell me more about that? Why are people thinking that you guys sometimes are there just for one reason, and that is to make yourself richer?
So we talked about always serving the client first at a high level, right? The moment you think about your commission before that is in the bank, you made that choice to make it about you. So when we start talking about serving people at a high level, is know your craft. Really, really study it. I see so many real estate agents, and even for myself early on in my career, we didn't take it seriously enough. You have to study your craft. It's like whatever you needed to. You didn't get here without development, consistency, feeling some pain, feeling some rejection. I think as a whole, the reason why the nation or the world sees us that way is because we have a lot of inexperience. And with that inexperience, they still write some pretty heavy contracts and sometimes pretend to know everything. If it's something I don't know, I stay in my lane, right? I don't pretend just for the commission, because if you screw something up, it could be lights out for you in terms of this business, right? So the moment you think about them first and put their interests and needs and their wants over yours, I think you will always win. And it could change the dynamic and the culture of what we do across the country.
And it definitely takes a different mindset than just thinking about making money. Money becomes the bonus. Okay, it becomes a side effect of doing the right thing.
Right.
When you go into this just to make money, it's the sole purpose to make money. It's not going to work. Even in wellness coaching and high performance coaching that I do, when I work with a person, after an hour, I know, after assessing them, I know if it's a good fit. And it's only a good fit for me when I can see them immediately. After that hour, I know what I have for them, and I know they'll get there.
How do you read that?
Otherwise,
what is a few things that I could take away where I could use this?
Knowing where you at, knowing where you're going, and put a plan together to get there together. Okay?
I like it.
So know where you are now. I don't care if you're 100 pounds. Don't think about the work that needs to be done. Okay? Just think about the way you want to feel, the way you want to look. Once you have that, you immediately trigger what I call power of intention. You now intend to get there because you know where you're going. It's like getting in your car, knowing where you're going, and you get there. But if you get in your car and you don't know where you're going, you're never going to have that intention to get anywhere. So know where you are, know where you're going to go, where you want to end up and feel. And in your case, is home, the bottom line or helping people get in. You need to know what they want, but you need to know what you want as well. And once you know all that, you create what I call an appropriate plan. Why am I saying that? Because plans can be inappropriate. You were mentioning earlier people who just want to make money and not help people. That's an inappropriate plan.
Yeah.
And when they fail, they realize that, I did it for the wrong reason now.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get into the appropriate plan. I always say, bad or good choice, ultimately you're going to get there.
That's true.
Okay, why? Because if it's a good choice, you get there faster. If you made a bad choice, you learn, hopefully, from your mistake, and you get back on the path.
I like that you said plan. And I think, when we start talking about how to scale it, how to be successful,
right,
is a lot of people in any entrepreneur world, they don't operate with a plan. They don't do a financial statement every year or a P&L every month. A plan is big, especially in our world, because so many things change. And there's so many different plans that I think people get paralyzed. People think that, hey, I have to have the biggest plan out there. I had to An early real estate agent come in to try to join forces with us. And I said, give me your business plan. And this thing was a Fortune 500, Fortune 500 business plan, like an encyclopedia.
I bet you've never seen one since.
No, keep it simple.
Very unusual.
Right? Our business plan for the upcoming year is done by November, so we can test it and break it in December so that we are ready to go by January 3rd when we get back. Most people in my industry, number one, I can guarantee you this, don't have a plan. They just shoot from the hip, cross their fingers, and hope success is around the corner, which we know it never is.
The plan is really the blueprint. It's knowing each step of the path, your journey, where you go.
The other thing too is if you don't have a plan, and let's say you're doing well, you don't even know when to celebrate. Like
that's a good
piece.
If
you haven't hit if you set a goal to here and you never knew it was there, I mean, at some point you have to be excited about your success. But how do you know you're successful?
Yeah, I call that,
point.
A success that has no plan is accidental success. It's just a matter of time.
The COVID boom.
Before,
it was accidental success.
Couldn't walk away from the money.
You get, you face reality, and so again, a plan of action, appropriate plan of action, knowing where you're going, knowing where you are, making sure that you know where you are, because without that, you can't possibly know where you're going.
Yep.
Once you know that, put the action plan and do it. And then be passionate enough to fuel your drive, to execute. It's good to have a plan, but if you don't
I'm
have,
gonna hire this guy.
if you don't have that drive, and I'm not talking about just a motivation. Okay, motivation is you are motivated by external factor, but you need to be inspired in spirit, inspired by something greater that fuels your drive to get to where you're going. And with that, you wake up every morning. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me in all competitions that I won. That happened to me when I started a project writing, and even before landing a book contract with a traditional publishing company. I can tell you, some people in my place would have stopped writing. I would just keep writing until I get the deal, which is the definition of luck.
Yeah.
When
Accident.
Opportunity knocks on your door, you are prepared to take it. If opportunity knocks on your door, you have no plan.
You don't even know.
It goes to the next door.
Right.
When you have an idea and you don't act upon the idea, guess where the ideas are energy. Okay, they come from here. So they come to your head. If you don't act upon them, it's going to go to Ken's head.
Exactly. You did mention motivation, though. One thing that I found out over the years, because I was that junkie that went to every one of the seminars that sold me motivation. And what we find out is I spent $5,000 here, $2,000 here.
It's called mental masturbation. That's what those are.
Because the motivation goes away quickly.
Sure.
Right? And what we have to focus on
Sometimes as soon
is
as
the
you get
little
home.
disciplines that will keep you motivated because you're doing the right things that bring success, and now we want more.
I had a conversation with Chris Rock. He came to Miraval one day, and he said, if it's not visceral, it's nothing. And I didn't know what he meant. He said, when I am on stage, things I'm talking about are visceral. People feel it. And those motivational speakers out there, and mind you, there's a lot of them are great. But there are too many that are there that don't talk or express that visceral aspect that I'm talking about. In other words, you need to walk the talk, and you feel that, So when I say motivation, inspiration is what drives or fuels motivation.
Yep.
In other words, motivation without inspiration is no motivation at all. It's called mental masturbation when it's not fueled by inspiration. In other words, you're like, yeah, go home next day. You don't even know what you heard or what was talked about. You crash, right? but inspiration fuels you. You have that. Now you have a map.
Yep.
You know where you're going. That's exactly what happened to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would go to these seminars and I would walk over hot stones, break arrows on my throat. But one thing I left without understanding the path or the direction, the plan. So they keep you coming back by selling you all this really, hey, you walked over coals, now you can accomplish anything, but not without a plan. When I go to others that are tactical, right? Not just motivational, tactical. Here's your plan, help you create something that you can use. I think that's more powerful, and that's why I always say, trust the little disciplines, be consistent with them, and you always feel motivated.
When people understand the word discipline as it's supposed to be understood, which is you are your own disciple. That's why you're disciplined enough to get there. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's important to note, and that's at the level of inspiration. Yep. You're doing this more of a spiritual aspect as opposed to just what's in the surface. Okay, and when you, like I said earlier, you know where you're going, you know where you are, you know where you're going. Put the plan together, fuel it with inspiration, passion, and just get it, my friend.
Just be accountable to the plan. That's
accountable.
Really it.
Hold yourself accountable. You know, and it's interesting. I was talking about this to Ken and Emilio. I listened to one of our episodes yesterday. I didn't want to go out to walk my dog, and so I decided to go out and walk my dog. And I listened to the whole podcast, and I felt inspired and full of energy, and that's what we do. Mm-hmm. These kind of the No Limits Life podcast is based on one thing, and one thing only. It's awareness, bringing awareness. And we can do that in 20, 25 minutes. We don't need 3 hours. We don't need 4 hours. And certainly we don't need 7-day seminar.
That's true.
So thank you.
I got it. Can I leave with one thought?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
One piece of
even
advice?
More than one thought.
Give it to us.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell it to you as a story.
Yeah.
So in 2020, my son got diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh.
Right? And I feel like my life was going to end. I couldn't see him because of COVID. And I remember driving home, and I was tired, and my mentor calls me, and he goes, man, you sound down. What's going on? I said, I couldn't see my son today. I'm down. I don't know what to do. He goes, snap out of it. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He goes, you're acting like this is only happening to you. Your son is the one on the surgery table. Your wife is in there watching her only son wither away. And I said, I'm trying my best. And he says, I don't ever want to hear that come out of your mouth again. We don't try our best, we do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. So snap out or whatever it takes, because if you think trying your best is going to work right now when you're at the lowest part of your life, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And how that can translate to anything, right? If I say, hey, you need to go get that sale, sometimes it's optional. But if I say, I'm going to push you off this building if you don't get that sale, would you do it? Mm-hmm. The mindset of everybody that wants to go in entrepreneur, wants to go into sales, has to have whatever it takes mentality, not try your best. Trying your best is a cop-out. So try your best. If you want to do anything in life, go kill it, go crush it.
Your son is okay?
He's great, yep.
Okay. Awesome. On that, I want to add, when you said the trying is like having one foot on the gas pedal and the other on the brake pedal. You go nowhere.
Yep.
That's trying.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Love it. To all of our listeners, I hope you appreciated our show here with Kay, and I know I did. And so please subscribe. Comment, share.
Comment, yes.
Comment, right? Comment. Got a comment. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of No Limits Life. Till then, see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.